Welcome to the APL Spotlight Series. Incredible experts the world over here to share insights, their wisdom, their experiences, and a lot more. A lot of love on this show. Coming back to us, who's already been on the regular APL show, and she'll be back on again on that one in 2025, is Shawn Mitchell out of Washington State, transcendental leadership coach, and much more. Author, consultant, speaker. She's been around the block, and so she's had a lot of exposure to the lifestyle, self-help, spiritual experts out there. She knows how to talk the talk, walk the walk, and share what she knows, which makes her an incredible guest. I'm just excited to have her back on, and I hope to have her back on as much as she will allow. Shawn, great to see you again. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year first.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy New Year. Happy Merry Holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever makes you happy.
Exactly. And again, great to see you again. You've got some experience. You've been paying attention for a long time to what we call spirituality, the universe, transcendentalism, just all the different cultures around the globe that are already paying attention faster than the West. Uh, if I asked you some big picture questions, can you just give a yes or no? And then how do you know? Is love the fabric of the universe, and do angels exist? And what is this stuff all about again? Can you give us some sweeping overview before we dive in?
Gosh, yes. Um, my personal view, right, of a sweeping overview is that I guess it depends on how one wants to define love, but I would say that love definitely is, I want to say that the joy glue of unity, right? And the more we share and give compassion, how love is shared and shown, uh, it's kind of almost that like attracts like. It's got a higher frequency and vibration, right? I say right, a higher frequency and vibration that cannot, in my opinion, cannot not affect the frequency in the fields that it's around. The whole notion of fields is a big conversation in and of itself, but my perspective is that love is certainly one of the primary factor of, you get joy and love by giving joy and love. And then probably for me, the bigger picture of my overview is what I believe in, God, source, universal wisdom, the creator, lots of different names for this mysterious something, something. And I believe that that something, something is alive in everything. Cannot not be. And it's always present. It might seem like it's not, mostly because we're not acknowledging it and we're not asking for its presence. I kind of feel that that's what self-realization means, is when we deeply, in a deep knowing embodiment, even realize that we're this aspect, if you will, or stardusty, or however you person wants to define it, element of this source, essence, and so forth. That being said, um, I another layer to that is that this source wants to express itself, particularly, of course, in love and compassion, and truth through us. And the cool thing is, it doesn't matter. It's just your unique you-ness, your unique vessel in this lifetime, in this body, with your past, how you grew up, your education, your experience. All it, spirit, God, source wants to do is express itself through that unique you, not attached to accomplishment, doesn't care about how chill and cool you are, doesn't have to look good. I mean, it takes a lot of pressure off, but because we're so ingrained to, accomplishment and looking good and all that. Um, and that being said, here's the last little weaving element in there is that as Source wants to express through this unique you and unique me and unique everybody, it's us in service to each other. Again, going back to how compassionate we are, how loving we are, how helpful we are, how I want to say present and aware when someone's suffering, the capacity to keep our mouths shut and to suspend judgment, the notion of accepting people the way that they are. Everyone's had their trauma, if you will, where compared to another individual's experience of trauma might seem, not much. In any event, that's kind of my overreaching perspective on the whole shebang.
Seth, Jane Roberts, 1970s Light Being, talked about it's not going to be found externally. It's going to be found through the world, through your heart into a broader reality. But the same concept is taught in the gymnastics movie, Peaceful Warrior, Dan Millman. Nick Nolte, who plays the gas station attendant, sits at the bar, I think, and says, no, 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 it's not external. It's going to be found here. It's the last place people want to go. It might be by the bus stop, that scene. But he says no one wants to go there, too scared to let go and go full stop and sit still in your heart where the action is. And then also even Law of Attraction, who is Esther Hicks and the Abraham Hicks, what Light Beings, she talks about that all the time. So can you talk to us about how it's not external? You're already on the treasure map. You are the treasure. You got to get to here. What's that about?
Yeah, I always want to sort of disclaimer, this is just my opinion, right?
Yeah, of course. Oh my goodness.
Um, you know, I think Source gives us, and it's such a cliche to say lessons, right? But you could also reframe that in that there's maybe levels and that you could align that or kind of, maybe levels of frequency too as you raise your frequency. And first of all, if we're not careful and we tried to attempt to, let's say, become, realized or self-actualized and so on, so enlightened too quickly, our head would blow off because we have no idea. We can only kind of usually go in increments, right? And there's so much that's been said that a lot of individuals, Eckhart's very candid that he was at this extremely low point in his life when he had, you could call it a sense of awakening. So that is not uncommon that someone has a near-death experience. We could go into all these different, they get divorced, their partner, whatever, because it's going to be different for everybody. I had mine. That's a whole other, conversation at some point. I mean, more than one. And if I don't, as you said, drive into that neighborhood because it's so freaking scary, you don't want to go there, but you can go in increments. And even if you finally get to the point where you have, maybe a coach or someone who can kind of give you, okay, there's a little bit of light in there, there's a little bit of light in there, there's a little bit of light in here. You can kind of maybe get a little more comfortable. I not use the same expression, driving into those scary parts of the psyche. And there's a whole other, I'm going to say new, but, somewhat new-ish in some areas, indigenous plant medicine and so forth. And I personally don't feel that, you want to lean on that too much because that is from out there, but it can provide certainly uh, some peace in areas of trauma and anxiety. But I completely agree with you that it's very challenging to go in here, but it A, it gets easier, and B, it's can be very exciting. Way back in the, I'm going to say early mid-ish 90s. I had this notion of adventures of the spirit, and started a book where I was interviewing people whose lives unfolded when they discovered their 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 passion, their calling, and so on. And just to kind of say something about that, so often I learned something got generated within pretty much all of us as a child, probably between 4 and 11. Now, we get distracted and go off into our lives, but sometimes it stays with us, and sometimes we forget about it, and then something is like oh yeah. Well, I say that because I was into this Adventures of the Spirit thing, and partly because, I love to travel, and I would, do these race in Madagascar or motorcycles in Costa Rica and drive in a van from Seattle to Costa Rica. It's a different trip. I really enjoyed that kind of Africa, whatever. And but at the same time, because partly, because I was into spirituality and I, kind of seek that out and was a meditator. Um, At the same time, there was just as rich, if not richer, um, spelunking, if you will, within, you know, the inner self. And it's helped me anyway. Um, I think be kind of a calmer kind of person. Usually people say, "Gosh, you're so easy to talk to," or you're just kind of chill. For the most part, um, minimal drama, that kind of thing. And, you know, uh, I think it serves us. And then of course, obviously, when, our being influences our doing, then, we can contribute to other people and we're more at peace with ourselves. And then I would say too, because certainly now, pretty much since COVID and so on, that we are living in so much uncertainty. And certainly now we have political turmoil that we can't even believe all around the world, right? So Shawn will say to herself, how comfortable can you get with uncertainty? And, that's a must, an intrinsic, if you will, kind of muscle that I think is important for all of us. And then I guess I just do want to say one more thing, and I'll stop on this topic, is that being grateful is so huge. And with all the suffering in the world, and I can't even begin to imagine the true suffering that's occurring in our world today, that those of us um, who have even the smallest of blessings, we have so much to be grateful for. And I know the other day I had, it felt anyway, like there were these, ancestors and angels or celestial beings, or I don't even know, some of them were human-esque and some of them were sparklers and some of them were, I don't even know. But there was just this field of love and support. And you just have to ask for it, really, I feel. And then, oh, you said something, and then there's this truly incredible notion of deep knowing when your whole body, heart, soul, mind, just the gut says yes with a giant yes. And your head's not going, I don't know, let me think, I'm not so sure. I remember Deepak said one time, listen to your gut because gut cells don't have, they don't, what's the word he said? They don't get confused with. They just know.
Hmm.
They're not like, oh yeah, maybe, what do I think,
I have three quotes for you. One from Mother Teresa, another from
Mm,
Plato, and let's see. A third will be again from Mother Teresa. So here's one from Mother Teresa on the other side in 2016, related to what you were talking about. All suffering is universal, not limited to person experiencing it. Then Plato said, allowing is the torch to illuminate the cave's exit. This is
mm.
this is compassion. And that was in 2015. And then Mother Teresa, a year earlier in 2015, from her other quote, said, compassion is like a deep breath for many, meaning just slowing down a little would do a world of wonder for most of us. We're up here doing the rat race. Between those three quotes, you don't have to address them directly, or you can. What jumps out at you?
Fear. Fear jumped out as, why there's angst, why we don't drive into those, scary parts of ourselves, why our world is in such a crazy town. Um, when someone's suffering, we're fearful on maybe how to approach them or what to do. I know that, for instance, I want to be compassionate with some homeless people I might come across here or there, but they're often unpredictable, particularly maybe a large man, unpredictable, and so is fear take over for Shawn, and she's less able to approach. I mean, I will say that yes, in my case, I am, but I only use that as a small example. But fear is what came up for me.
Well, talk to us about the difference between thinking and awareness. I know people have thrown thousands of synonyms for down here in the heart: limitlessness, timelessness, compassion, awareness, consciousness versus unloved, thinking, stress, fear, reacting, worry. There's two different flows, and maybe the name of the game is getting started recognizing just the difference between the two and where are you putting yourself. Talk to us about parts of your life where that became apparent that you wanted to be here more.
Times in my life. Well, I've been divorced a couple times, and I wish I knew then what I know now, for sure. Big time for sure. Um, you said something when you introduced me, I've been around the block. Maybe. Uh, I wish I knew then what I know now, some of those episodes around the block. But I guess that's just part of the growth, right? And yeah, I'm trying to, think of other times I did this. I really participated as a journalist, so I don't really want to get too far off on that, but with an eco challenge, it was called the Raid Galois in Madagascar, this race. And I went by myself, and on a team there were 5 people. They all had to complete the whole thing. It was a dairy orienteering over the river and through the woods for like 2.5 weeks in the jungle whatnot of Madagascar. And I needed to rely on others, and there's and maybe the way I was raised, I got 5 brothers, I was a super tomboy and so on. um it's hard to ask for help. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who has a challenge sometimes. And I think it seems to be the plight of a lot of women, but to ask for help. And in that particular case, I really had to have help from time to time. And what occurred was we were all asking for help from each other. We were only as strong as the weakest link. And then from that, there became this sort of unspoken support, and that there was a field, if you will, of support. And I knew when I needed to help you even before, uh, it really came into my mind, or maybe even you thought of it. So there was that element. And I guess at the same time, I would say I got lucky somehow that I trusted um, the universe. But I was also lucky I was never got into any seriously challenging scenarios, running around the world and this and that. Or even in my own life, raising my children and, having a family and having a career. I don't know when we last talked, but I started working for a retreat center that is in Colorado. I work remotely from home. I help develop retreats and programs with teachers and leaders for the retreat center. There's always, and when you have a job and you're working, you have a boss and you're trying to, every once in a while, there's things that are, um, you want to say something, but you don't. There's that whole suspension.
Mhm.
There's this wonderful in the Tao Te Ching, I call it verse 15 or whatever, towards and oh shoot, here it is, of course, I wouldn't even know it. More or less the last stanza of the Tao Te Ching in this verse 15, let's call it. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The master doesn't seek fulfillment, not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things.
Hmm.
This is a translation by Stephen Mitchell. The first time I read it, I just sobbed because I realized what a disruptor I could be. Muddying the waters, like what about this and how come we're not doing that? And, and so now I'm far more like, you know, allow it to resolve itself or listen to your gut because gut cells haven't evolved to the point they doubt their own thinking. And that's when yes, it's time to speak up. I think I was all over the place there with your question, so I'm not sure.
Oh no, you did good. Is Stephen Mitchell the one who's Byron Katie's ex-husband, or was
Yes.
the one in
Oh,
here?
is he? I don't know. Is he an ex now?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh no.
I keep
I
forgetting
don't.
that. Sure.
Well, what do I don't know.
I think Byron Katie's married to him, but I'm not sure.
She certainly was because when I worked at La Casa de Maria Retreat Center, we went to this thing in Santa Barbara where she was speaking, and he was there with her. And I'm chatting with her, and he comes up and she introduces him to me, and I'm like, Stephen Mitchell, Tao Te Ching? He's like, yeah. And I practically elbowed her out of the way. I was so excited to meet him. I said, you've been living on my bedside table for like 25 years, whatever it had been. And yeah, yeah, I love his translation anyway.
Well, I'm looking him up right now in Wikipedia. So here he is, and just to see, yeah, okay, family, personal life, yeah, married to Byron Katie of the work. We'll see if we can get her on one day. We'll need a bigger audience, though. Not necessarily. I have Lynn McTaggart. You mentioned the field stuff. We have her coming on in February of 2025 to record. Her episode will be, I think, in like April or sometime in the summer. I'm going to light sage to set the table. You can catch the smell of lit sage through two screens in Washington State, where you are now. I'm in Texas. Give yourself permission to let the universe, angels, guides, loving guides do their jobs and bring it to you. We'll put up an angel or two to get you a topic as well. And if you go crazy with this, why settle for just linear and have sage when you can have sage, flowers, Christmas smell, and maybe even get some ocean in the air, but not the ocean that's like nearby on the coast, something more exotic and warm. Hawaii, Bora Bora, not boring, Costa Rica, somewhere. Here's the sage. Ask all the angels to bring you sage, Christmas, flowers. What are you getting first?
Well, it's admittedly it is sort of a Christmassy cedar fir, even I don't know, is it snow and river stones or something?
If I ever get a following on this show, I'll tell you this feather is not, I've never done it like a tennis stroke again and again and again. So anyone is laughing right now who's watched a lot of these shows. We've got up 280 or so taped, but we only have about 150, 151 released. We just had Seth Shostak, senior astronomer of SETI, air his show. He's coming back on actually, I think January of 2026. And then Robert Baer, who co-founded Spiritual Awakenings International at one point, Chip, California Highway Patrol. He had two near-death
Oh,
experiences, died on a plane, was brought back to life at the hospital, then died again at the hospital. And he's fascinating. His show's live right now when you see this, or within the last episode by the time you see this. And so, briefly, if you could comment, share, like, subscribe. I'm doing the public service announcement now. Have a wonderful set of holidays. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year first for all of you who are checking out this APL Spotlight Series show with Shawn Mitchell in Washington State. I'll put up an angel named Joy. Get a couple of whooshes, hugs on your person, goosebumps, or even a hand on your shoulder. Anybody wants to breathe more, open your mouth and turn up the volume. 1970s stereo component. Just turn that volume knob up. She'll oblige. And then what topic does she have, or what reminder first does she have for us all? And then get a topic you can follow up with. What'd you get?
I got sharing.
Oh, okay. So talk to us about sharing.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't know, whatever, however you said it, what came up was, the holidays and sharing. And again, sharing with people that I, I don't necessarily have less than we do, but that notion, of course. But it's not like necessarily, $5 at the grocery store to help feed a family kind of a thing, but maybe just an element, a little heightened awareness when you're perhaps out and about to share just maybe, some patience or some kindness or, a nice exchange with, the person at the checkout place or, um, you know, a neighbor, a smile. Share your being. It doesn't have to necessarily be about doing. Um, and I guess at the same time, I would say that, open our hearts up to all the different kinds of, I want to call it holiday traditions. We made these days up, so but it's lovely to have these holiday seasons made up or whatever. We probably could use more of them, not going out and buying stuff, of course, but that it's a season of, love and sharing and family and this and that. So I would say also sharing or even learning about all the other traditions, whether they're around this time of the year or not. But I think that would be like a fun thing, a fun course even, to just have an hour, 2 hour online thing where you could learn about the different ones. There's I think there's indigenous ones, and of course there's the Jewish ones, and then there's the Christian ones, and so on. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch more. And there's solstice and all the I want to say sort of shamanic and indigenous and this and that around that. Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting. So that's kind of what comes up for me is sharing.
I'll put up Lucy in just a second. She's patience, but real fast with Joy, if you could treat her like a fireplace, put your hand out, catch the vibe, and
Ooh,
get some waves of light passing over you and around you in addition to your hand, two separate flows. What are you feeling on your hand?
super warmth on the hand.
Good. And then close your eyes, get a little bit of, if you want to, you can get it in the room, pink glitter, pink snowflakes all around. You won't have to get a snow shovel or vacuum. Allow for what you can allow for, get whooshed. Here's something from her about Lucy. You're about to meet an angel who's all about patience, and she calls herself Lucy in this iteration. Here's Lucy. If you could put your hand out and feel a completely different vibe. And
More,
now what do you
more
think?
ticklish, you know?
Yay. Okay, and close your eyes and have her show you something. It could be a vision, but it could be just feeling patience beyond what the senses will allow for. And have her phrase it in a way that launches you verbally into sharing with us more about patience.
Well, she's asking me to reiterate about can you remain unstill while the muddy water around you settles and right action arises by itself?
Mm. I love it.
Patience. We don't need to, it's hard, you know, our society has us, you know, go, 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 get things done, you know. Um, Fear, right? Uh, yeah, that's what comes up for me with patience. And then, you know, part of that, Stephen Mitchell's rephrasing, if you will, of that stanza, um, not seeking, not expecting, the master's present and can welcome all things. That's what your angel patient wanted me to talk about again. And it's very organic in Shawn's personality that, you know, patience.
I'll put up an angel named Claire who's all about resilience, but also clarity. And the more clarity you have, the less you actually have to do. You see the timing better, like you're talking about, and know how to allow the universe to step in and do the heavy lifting. But here's Claire. Actually, I'll go on a tangent and just show a concert in Austin, Texas from 12 years ago or so. It was not raining, and it's a gajillion orbs, over 1,000 orbs at a concert. It was a European band, either from England or the UK, Two Door Cinema Club, or it was a rare French alternative band that is super successful. M83. They still have a lot of successful best-selling hits. But here's the photo. And if
Wow.
everyone had had a camera and taken the photo, Angels answered a long time ago. It was either one third of the crowd could have gotten this, or two. Joy's in the middle of the pink ball light. And then you see the bright purple is who you're meeting next, right there in the center, Claire.
Wow.
And I wanted to show that. My crew was in the center there. Here's Claire for you. Get blown away. Close your eyes, get blown away again. Get a lot of clarity coming in and have her tie a ribbon onto some of the themes we've been talking about. And you're going to repackage it all over again for us. And it'll make sense. And you can even get a little squeeze on your shoulder. Here's something about the holidays that's private to you. You're not going to share it. Say, got it though, when you got it. She'll pipe in about something about the holidays. She might be helping you gift wrapping or the walks or something. Did you get something private? Here.
Yes.
Good. Okay, now what do you got for us?
What comes up for me, a couple of things. Claire is also the um, let's call it namesake or sort of sorts, patron saint of what's called I want to say it's the six clairs: clairvoyance, clairaudience, you know, like audio, claircognizance, clair. I wish I had them all off the top of
Their
my head.
sentience is one.
Right. And so I guess Claire's saying that we can, you know, that's like a muscle too, right? To, you know, become more clairvoyant, become, you know, hearing, seeing, feeling, sensing, all those clairs that can contribute to one's sense of clarity. And then the other thing that came up for me, and I'll show you this picture here, is that this is a goofy story for some people, maybe. So I've had a couple of past life experience scenario things a long time ago, actually, but more recently, maybe in the last, I want to say 6 months. A friend of mine who's working on getting credentialed, if you will, for that. Would I like to practice? Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. I bring the. So I
Was she
had
doing past
this.
life regressions and needed a guinea pig? You were the guinea pig?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I'm in. Well, anyway, as she was guiding me, like, what do you see and where are you and this and that. And what was strange was, I don't see where I am. And she started to ask questions, well, what about this? And well, what about that? And I said, well, I'm kind of hovering and I'm kind of hovering. She says, well, look at your hands. And I'm like, oh, wow, my hands are sort of, long and silver and slendery. And bottom line, the
Ooh.
angel of the Grail.
Ooh.
And I don't know if you can see,
Yeah.
and what she came we came to, I said, I'm not having a past life here on earth. I didn't even know that was a real thing. I didn't even know that was possible. And she says, well, you're not having a past life on earth like the two other, sessions I'd had way back in the past. So when you talked about Claire, I don't know, as she came up, I can't know if you see in the light,
Yeah, no,
but
I can see that. I'll get you a little answers, except I'm not going to see any details. I'm not going to hear any details. And Charlotte, the angel, she's really good at coughing up the goods. And I get past lives that I never asked about, but they could be off world. And ever since March of this year, galactic beings have been coming in. Different angels have been giving their different backgrounds, origin stories. Now, joy is cosmic. When Big Mary said, love is everywhere. Open your eyes to find love. She's more like that everywhere. High vibe. Min, my guardian angel, she said serious. Not trying to be too serious here, but that her origin story. Charlotte said Orion. There's been Andromeda, Pleiades. I've got a angel who's like Charlotte, like Archangel Michael, one of my business managers. The third business manager is a Rebecca. And she said she comes from really far out. So far out, it makes Andromeda, Sirius, Pleiades, Orion, and the rest look like neighbors to us. But where music came from, there's Rebecca. It's actually
wow.
four little balls of light in there. If I can make it show somehow, there's two and two. Um, but so let me get to Charlotte because she's really good at explaining. You don't have to share it out loud, but have her give you the sanitized version for public dissemination. Here's Charlotte. If you don't mind putting a hand out to the side off camera to do something unusual with your body, breathe extra, leave your eyes on her, let her do her job, breathe extra. And when you've locked in, close your eyes, have her show you more quicker so we don't have to do the regression. Breathe, relax, no try Yoda. I'm going to do Yoda's voice to tie up your intellect. Have her show you exactly what it is and give you the baseball card statistics on the whole thing. I argue they're concurrent past lives, so the more you love, the more you connect to that existing being now. But here comes Yoda's voice. Brain's gonna focus on it. Let your heart soar with Charlotte. She'll even take you on a 15-second trip with that experience. Do. Oop, close your eyes. Do not. There is no try. And folks at home, you can put your hand out and feel her vibe. Charlotte, angel, unconditional love. Feel through two screens. Try too hard, you get sparkle on your toes. Ask her a question, get an answer, get a hug. Ask for a flower smell. If you've got really something where you're in a pinch, a pickle, a bind, have her go to work on you a little bit. It's energetic. You think it's a problem, and you'll start with my problem is, my situation is, my dilemma is. You don't understand. I'm stuck this way. But look at all the other times you've been stuck and how it all worked out. So it's just a consciousness shift like Wayne Dyer or Stephen Mitchell would tell you, or anybody else, Eckhart Tolle. But allow her to come in and just move some of your energy stuckness into suchness. Meanwhile, Charlotte's working on Shawn Mitchell with something that's more real than the waking dream we're in. Shawn, what did you get? Did she do a little bit of a reveal for you at least?
Yeah, well, there's a sense of uh, seeing, feeling, seeing, hearing in a I don't know, sort of this
Oh my goodness.
blue, I'm going to say sort of sky blue, shimmery, silvery, pale sky blue um, backdrop. And I'm kind of hovering over here and all in this sky, if you will, or are tons and tons and tons, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little sparklets of light, and each one has, like a prismy rainbowy thing going out. And some are kind of bigger and some are just tiny. But at the same time, these sparklets are making music,
Mm.
all improvising in joyous music that, I've never heard that kind before. And at the same time, emitting colors that blend and match up in accordance with the music. I
Mm.
don't know how to explain. I don't know.
Sure.
I have no way of explaining that.
Here, I'll
But
give
it's
you.
joy, and it's all like they're all I'm gonna say sort of personalities, and it's all in synchronization and unity and extraordinary beauty in terms of the colors and the music.
We had Elisa Barnett on the show who's coming back on, or may have already come back on a second time, and maybe is coming back on a third. I lose track. We're booked out all the way to January 2026, currently, or February almost. She's all about the Akashic records, and she had a great way to describe our souls, that they're so big. Sometimes they want a multiple level experience here on Earth or elsewhere. But pretend you want to be a healer, but both simultaneously in Germany, it's the 1860s, but you want to be in the Wild West, Native American, and somewhere else on the planet, so that if this is your soul, she described the fingertips each being a slight sliver coming into the human to experience that way, but get the contrast of, while you're Native American, you're also German hands-on healer slash the third type of healer, indigenous somewhere else, and you get the contrast between the three. So you're actually concurrently doing past lives. Because I was doing the math on some of the past lives other people were giving me, she was giving me, and I'm like, wait a second. My scientific side or math side was like, hey, I can figure this out. There's overlap. What's going on? So with that, get a concrete answer point blank. You're not going to share this one out loud. I'll do it with two different angels, and then I'll put up 4 archangels. We'll get the sanitized version, what you're allowed to get. Here's Charlotte. She'll just lay it on you. You're not allowed to say it out loud. Just say, got it when you got it.
Oh, got it.
Good. Now here's Joy. Have her double repeat it, but in a new, fresh way. Because if you ask to have compassion defined by 4,000 angels, it would probably take you 3 years to ask 4,000 times. Every one of them could answer differently and somehow still be bullseye on the mark, splitting the prior arrow definition. So here's Joy. Have her say it all over again a new way. And finally, we're going to bring in 4 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, and have them give you the sanitized version you're allowed to say out loud on the show. That's fantastic for us to hear. What do they say? Breathe extra, no triota, get 4 hugs, 1 hug, or 1 hug that counts as 4 hugs. Why not? And breathe through the mouth to let go even more. What'd you get?
Trust in the mystery.
There you go. Okay, one more angel for you, then we'll get back to kind of normal, the usual show stuff. We got to do it. Here's Rebecca. She's all about support or guidance, whatever way you want to describe it. And I'll try to show what those 2 balls of light are. The cover of my little Listening to Angels book has 2 balls of light that's actually Charlotte and Min. And this is what they look like with happy faces in there. But that's what you can kind of see. There's 2 and 2. It's 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'm trying to make all 4 show. The glare sometimes takes it away. But that's Rebecca. Catch something from her. But if you want to hear galactic music that's beyond our comprehension, but somehow you're still going to grasp it or get it or go straight to the heart, think of a symphony of light with a little bit of tonal aspects to it. No going out mowing the lawn, cleaning the garage, and running a marathon all in a 5-hour span after this. You got to keep it tamped down. Don't go crazy. Okay, what do you get from Rebecca for all of us?
Well, it kind of goes back to the mystery. The mystery is that there's Yeah, so much, so much, so much, so much in unseen realms. So much that it's a mystery for us in this life right now, for the most part, for everybody. I suppose there's one or two out there, but that, I want to just go back to the simplicity of being loving. I think about maybe, in my case anyway, the one grandmother that I knew, and she was a step grandmother. The point being, she was loving, that she hadn't read a whole bunch of books, and she hadn't, um, I mean, in her case, she went to church, but that wasn't really why necessarily she was loving. She wasn't accomplished. She hadn't studied. She couldn't, da, 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 all of this stuff that Shawn would maybe call the doing,
Hmm.
and doing some doings in order to maybe affect my beingness. And whereas, simple folks, that isn't necessary. None of it is. It's just being aware and trying to be, like the Dalai Lama said, kind. Just can we just be more kind?
I have one quick figure, a Native American chief, Dull Knife. He's wisdom with a little bit of humor, very treetop level. So he should come right in faster than an angel. Unconditional love, spirit guide. Get any private answer you need, sneak it in there. We won't know. But let him bring you one of those 50 Native American sacred smells: tobacco, sweetgrass, juniper, pine, cedar, desert pinon, sage. You get the idea. Nothing needs to be lit. I'll bring him closer. It's Dull Knife. And he's got something to add to the conversation. And what are you getting for all of us?
Well, peace, there's that peace pipe there. And it's also, yeah, there's also that dull knife. Okay. Also, warrior courage, warrior peace. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to do three quotes. I don't know who they're going to be from. It could be St. Augustine, Eckhart Tolle. We'll see. Here's Albert Einstein. I just want to get your reaction. Only a life lived in service to others is worth living. And then Dull Knife said, trust more, worry less. There's no such thing as silence. There's only stillness. He said that in 2012 to me. Um, and then here's one more. It's going to be, I think, the Chiefs. What's the difference between thinking and awareness? Dull Knife said, thinking takes energy. Awareness is knowing and acknowledging. Red Shirt, another Native American chief, says, thinking brings in doubts. Awareness is what is. And then, and awareness is observing what is already in place. Geronimo had one in there as well. I'll see if I can find. Yeah, that's good enough. I would say stuck versus unstuck is another way to say it. An angel said that. Okay, so from all that, what did you have pop out for us?
Um, well, that was a lot. It's kind of hard to hone in on this or that, but I would say that, like you said, trust. It's just a trusting, a knowing, thinking is, you could say, the head, the brain, the rational, that kind of thing. And then, the heart and the gut are in the knowing. And definitely, it's hard to trust. We live in a complicated world, and we oftentimes, feel like we're doing the right thing when we're, let's just call it, impulsive. And maybe that doesn't always pan out as our best decision. But in any event, I agree with the sense of deep knowing. There's a certain amount of surrendering to the awareness and patience and silence, and getting comfortable with silence. Everyone's trying to, fill up void. I know I used to be that way. If like I get uncomfortable if the person I was with maybe, there wasn't any dialogue and I'm over that. But um and so much can be spoken in the silence, even sometimes more than what our vocabulary can express.
Well, let's do that. We'll do a little energy in just a second, but I cannot remember what we did. I think we did blowing sage. I think we definitely did that. But I didn't show my energy, did I, with the background? That was before the show, or did I do it during the show?
I don't remember,
Hard
was
to
it
know.
the show or not?
I'll do it during the show, but catch a little extra from the universe. Once you've got my flow between my fingers, people at home, all you're seeing is my aura, chakra, the force from Star Wars, what already is flowing on everything around you and you, but you've got such thinking going on, it blocks out a lot of it. The only thing I can suggest for an exercise is if you're knocked out for sleep one night, ask angels to make it a really good sleep. Find those recessed lights that are usually someone's kitchen or bathroom or whatever, if it's a modern place. First thing in the morning, maybe leave a pink post-it note somewhere where your eyes are going to hit it first before you've said a word, brushed your teeth, combed your hair, or let the dogs out, or had coffee or tea. You got to do this first thing. Rush over, not too much, just walk over to the recessed light. You'll see a beach ball sized halo around it of rainbow colors. And at that point, your heart's all in. Like a poker game, you've shoved your stack of chips in, you're like, oh my God, that's pretty. Unfortunately, your ego is going to come in, your intellect. So it's a great chance to meet your ego. Your ego is going to come in like a scientist and completely kill the experience. But it'll take a little bit of time. The first question from your ego or intellect is, wait, what am I looking at? And you're going to notice the beach ball shrinks and you've lost a couple colors. And then the next question, it'll shrink more. Eventually it's gone, but you were left with a lot of wonderment, and that'll be pretty cool. It's just everything has light on it. Let go to see light. Now, everyone gets an extra dad joke. I'll do the one that you've already heard this, Shawn. What do you call a really old snowman? Water. And see a little bit of light between my fingers. It's maybe the only show we've done this twice. What color are you seeing between my fingers? Breathe, relax, no triota. Do not. What do you got now? Breathe, be in your heart. Let your heart do the seeing. It's the Zen thing, seeing without seeing. I'll blow Hawaii through the microphone. This is easy. I'm standing up. My microphone's up high. Catch a little Hawaii in the air. Now, what do you see? Anything between my fingers? Do you see a light, a thread of light, a filament? We did this before the show, so we know it works. Hold on. What do you got now? What color do you see?
Are you asking me to respond?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, it's kind of, I don't know, a pale yellow.
Perfect.
Pale yellow.
Ask the universe to step in, your angels, your guides. You love some figures from India too. Ask them to make it nice. Like you walked into a New York restaurant, sushi bar, you know the chef. You're like, I don't need the menu. Just make it nice. Ask them to make something else. Geometric pattern, a flower, lotus flower, a diamond, a running horse. Somebody got a running buffalo. Two people got phoenixes. We just had a mind, body, spirit panel recently, and someone I think got a geometric pattern in the middle, but I'm going to go faster, wider. Ask for sparks, something that you know is not my flow. The angels are just saying hi. What are you getting?
I see again it's almost like one of those DNA spiral things.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to put it away. And that was all prelude for something that went out of my mind. So I had another exercise. Oh, I got it. Okay, I'm such a blank. Okay, I'm going to put my hand up in Texas. If you don't mind putting your hand up in Washington State, let me know what vibe you're catching. Any adjective works. Sparkly, happy, as long as you're feeling it. Ask Joy to make it really nice and be our ambassador for this. What do you feel in your hand? It should be getting at least warm.
Well, sparkly.
I mean, I was to say I didn't do it, but I'll take sparkly. That works. I did it, and so did Joy was helping me out. We'll blame Joy. Don't blame Canada. Okay, now I'm going to whoosh you three times: little, medium, and large. The last one, it's go big, go home. You're already home, so you're going to want to go big on the last one. Here's the first one. You can feel light up and down the back, front. You got a big project. Ask for the light to go towards that project, or you need a good weekend. Ask for whatever you need, but here comes this whoosh of light. I'll blow through the microphone and give you a little Hawaii too. If you don't mind breathing more at your end to allow it to go into your field, we're going to ask Joy to do all the heavy lifting. Blame Joy. Again, don't blame me. Here it comes. Hit you a little whoosh of light or a big whoosh of light. What whoosh did you get? Can you throw some words on that?
Kind of like a whoosh of clouds. Again, sort of that pink, yellow, silvery color.
Ooh, I got the second one that's medium, but you can go ahead and make it big if you want. Ask that figure of yours, the angel grail, at least the light being or being of light who holds the grail. Ask her to kick it into gear and join Joy and a lot of others. Yeah, ask them to do a lot of the whooshing on you as I whoosh. Have her take care of the business here. Here it comes. Get a lot of light. I'm going to say the word aquamarine, but it's better than that. Get the works. Now you walked into a Subway sandwich joint in New York and know the owner. You're like, I'll take that sandwich with the works. What'd you get this time? A little more?
Yeah, yeah. It feels like that the whole notion of the Holy Grail kind of bubbled to the surface in a major way.
Okay, the last one's going to be like the end of the thing they call it at the fireworks grand finale. That's it. Or New Year's mixed with Boxer Day. I don't know what that is, but Canada celebrates it. And your birthday plus Hanukkah, 4th of July, where the fireworks actually do happen. Let's ask for all the fireworks in the world. If you're bold, you'll sneak a peek and just see all the glitter in the world around you. Again, you're not going to have to vacuum or hand vacuum later. It's not going to hit the ground. It's just made out of light. Ask Joy, all your angels and guides from India, plus that one on the representation. Ask everybody to do great. I'm going to blow away like the big bad wolf up to the microphone, get a lot of Hawaii or galactic energy. Here it goes. Feel it on your nose and feel it on your toes. When you're ready, open your eyes and see a little bit of it all around you, and you're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, I wasn't expecting a giant yawn,
That's our
right? That's got to do with energy, right? When your
yeah.
body just goes,
Well, here, clear us out. Absolutely clear us out, but close us out with a final look. You've been to a lot of seminars, met a lot of folks, you've paid attention for a long time. Here's Joy with a dull knife, and I'll put up Claire as well. They'll give you some cues on a great sort of direction to take us to close us out this holiday season. That's a release. You don't have to cover it. It's Angel Yawn. And you're letting it go. Let it go out over the Pacific to Russia, North Korea, Venezuela, China, or if you're really compassionate, outer space, but not to Texas and not to the audience. Just as the audience's troubles get lifted off of them, and we've got filters forevermore when we hit 6 million views in 2030. Okay, and it doesn't matter if it's 2030 you're in Tokyo, Berlin, or Cape Town. You can still do all these exercises. Time and space isn't what you think it is. Here's Claire, Dull Knife, and Joy. Have us head off into the sunset with a particular direction. They'll advise you. People at home can ask for hugs from them or any questions privately. Hear your answers. It'll sound like your own voice for half a second. The second you relax and let go, you'll hear their voices. That's more important than anything. Get your help directly. Okay, Shawn, what do you got for us? Shawn Mitchell in Washington State. You're amazing. Where are you taking us for the closing out of this show?
I'd say peaceful warrior courage.
How do we do it daily? What do we need to know? What's a basic tip that we can walk a smoother path?
Well, be more present, Share joy, of course. That's easy, Um, yeah, more presence, more silence, more comfortability in being in the silence. Like, work on that muscle. With all the, I gotta go and I gotta do this and I gotta, write the cards and buy the present, all that commercial stuff. And then think about the being versus the doing and love yourself.
Ooh, yes. I love that. And look, it is Christmas time almost. We're weeks away, but more presents is always a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we like that.
I'll do one last picture. It's a fairy. Her name's Ginger. I got Tink, and I got a photo of Tink, but not this time. Maybe on the next show that we tape in the spring of 2025 for the regular APL show series. And hey, we put ourselves out there. If you're still watching this, you should hit at least the little thumbs up like thing. Hit the notify bell button. You'll hear about this show when it comes out. We do 3 shows a week and then all these extra APL spotlight shows plus mind, body, spirit panels. And sometimes those guests do stuff jointly. There's Ginger the Fairy. She's super rock star awesome. You can see a lot of rainbow light off her wings. And ask her a very private question, get a beautiful answer. But when you're ready, you can see her here as a 14-year-old, maybe behind the bar or right there. She'll turn into a little ball of light and fly off once you get the full human 14-year-old version. If you want, let's do this off camera. Put your hand out like you're getting $50 off camera though. Breathe extra, close your eyes. And when you feel your hand light up, breathe through the mouth extra for this one. Like you're in a yoga class with a mean instructor, say moi. I'm yelling breathe. Let joy be your ambassador for this. When you feel your hand light up with energy, she's landed as a little Disney figure, the way we expect to see fairies. Maybe a half-inch tall. Feel her there. And when you hear ready from her or from joy, a kiss on the cheek, tap on the shoulder, look down and see her in the animated little form you expect with wings and all. It'll short circuit everything you know, though. And then get a Merry Christmas from her. And did you get her as a little figure in your hand? Holy
Oh,
Tilly.
yeah.
I think you just did a very big Merry Christmas for us all. Holiday cheer, be in your heart, let go of what you know long enough to just say hello to a stranger. Ooh, and I have a little reminder for us all. I'll be lucky if I find it. Ooh, I found it. This is the most important thing I think I know. Well, except that where you put your attention is where you put it, and how you spend your energy is where you spend it. 13 years, I've learned a lot. And angels exist. Okay, here it is. Angels said this, it's not me. Sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment. So too does laughter or a few kind words. Be compassionate to all. Do it. And an angel named Dale, I think, might have said that, or it was a bunch of angels. I don't know. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's so true.
Well, Shawn
So
Mitchell, huge big hugs to you, plus extra holiday seasoning in the form of sparkly love. And may it ripple the next few days so that you just are like, whoa, wait a second. I just did this in the house and I got caught off guard. Those angels, those fairies just did star glitter. I don't even know what star glitter is, but they did it for you. You start laughing. You even have to send me a note to say hi. Maybe it's 2 weeks from now. As we get closer to Christmas, ask for a lot of extra. I don't care if we say magic, extra special stuff. I did my enthusiasm bit. You definitely did yours. Thank you so much for being on the APL Spotlight series. Great to have you on. We'll get you back for the main show and get you back on for everybody in 2025.
thanks, Michael.
Take care, Shawn.